Texas governor sends migrants to New York City as immigration standoff accelerates. New York. Texas Governor Greg Abbott, a Republican, stated on Friday he has started to ship buses sporting migrants to New York City to be able to push responsibility for border crossers to Democratic mayors and U.S. President Joe Biden, a Democrat. The first bus arrived early on Friday at the town's Port Authority bus terminal in Midtown Manhattan, wearing round 50 migrants from Bolivia, Colombia, Ecuador, Honduras and Venezuela. Volunteers had been assisting to steer individuals who had no family in town to Metropolis assets. Most of them don't have each person to assist. They do not know wherein to go, so we are taking them to shelters, stated one volunteer at the bus station, Evelyn Zapata, from a collection known as Grannies Respond. One circle of relatives of 4 from Colombia, who ended up at a homeless intake middle inside the Bronx, have been uncertain of where they would spend the night. Byron and Leidy, each 28, stated they left the United States of America's capital Bogotá because they were having trouble locating paintings. They did now not offer their ultimate call. It's a touch less complicated to go into the United States of America now, before it become very difficult to return right here with kids, said Leidy, who traveled together with her kids Mariana, 7, and Nicholas, 13. She mentioned the own family was hoping an individual they knew in New York would take them in, however that plan did not exercise session. We came right here because they mentioned they might help us find a place to sleep to not need to continue to be in the street, Leidy stated. Abbott, who is running for a third term as governor in November elections, has already sent extra than 6,000 migrants to Washington, considering the fact that April in a broader effort to fight illegal immigration and call out Biden for his greater welcoming guidelines. Biden got here into workplace in January 2021, pledging to reverse among the hardline immigration regulations of his Republican predecessor, former President Donald Trump, but some efforts had been blocked in courtroom. Abbott stated New York City Mayor Eric Adams ought to provide services and housing for the brand new arrivals. I wish he follows via on his promise of welcoming all migrants with open hands so that our overrun and crushed border towns can find alleviation, Abbott stated in a declaration. Arizona Governor Doug Ducey, some other Republican, has observed Abbott's lead and bust another 1,000 to Washington. U.S. border authorities have made record numbers of arrests underneath Biden, although many are repeat crossers. Some migrants who aren't able to be expelled speedy to Mexico or their domestic nations under a COVID-era policy are allowed into America, frequently to pursue asylum claims in U.S. immigration courtroom. Political pawns. Adams' office has in recent weeks criticized the busing efforts to Washington, saying some migrants have been making their way to New York City and overwhelming its homeless refuge system. On Friday, the mayor's press secretary Fabian Levy stated Abbott turned into the usage of humans as political pawns, calling it a disgusting and an embarrassing stain at the Kingdom of Texas. Levy mentioned New York would preserve to welcome asylum seekers with open hands, as we always have. However, we are asking for resources to help accomplish that, calling for help from federal officers. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre on Friday referred to as the Texas Initiative shameful and an unnecessary burden on taxpayers in that country. Costs for the attempt amounted to $1.6 million in April and May, a nearby NBC News affiliate said in June, greater than $1,400 per rider. Texas officials declined to offer the value when requested by using. Washington Mayor Muriel Bowser has also mentioned her town's refuge device has been strained by means of migrant arrivals and final month known as on the Biden management to set up Navy troops to help with receiving the migrants, a request that has frustrated White House officials. A U.S. protection respectable, talking on condition of anonymity, told that Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin had declined a request for D.C.